So Air Canada flight attendants are on the picket lines again this morning after refusing the government's back-to-work order. Air Canada says it plans to resume flights this evening, but it did not give details on how it would do so if the flight attendants remain off the job. Air Canada also asking on its website this morning for people who had flights booked with the airline not to head to the airport because all Air Canada flights and Air Canada Rouge flights right now are not operating. So for a closer look at where the strike stands, I'm joined this morning by John Graddick. He is the faculty lecturer and program coordinator for the Aviation Management and Supply Chain Management program at McGill University. He's also just our go-to guy when we have anything to do with airlines. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
Okay, back and forth, back and forth. Air Canada now asking people with a flight booked with the airline, do not go to the airport unless you know that you have a flight booked for sure. The flights just aren't operating. What does this tell you? What does this tell us? If I have a flight and I've been able to check in, am I going to the airport this morning?
No, do not go to the airport. Check on the flight display schedules. Check on the Air Canada website. Even though you may have checked in, that flight may or may not be operating. So cancellations are happening much closer into departure time. I've seen too many situations where passengers are at the gate and they've been checked in, bags have been checked in, and the flight's canceled.
What happens if the Flight Attendants Union continues to refuse the return to work order, even though Air Canada has promised to try and resume flights by this evening?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting debate. This is going to be an existential moment for Canadian labour unions. I think they've kind of gathered themselves around this issue and are making the cupe dispute kind of the poster child for labour relations and the state of labour relations in Canada. The minister has been involved in a number of referrals to the Labour Code and to the CIRB in recent years. As a means of, management abdicating responsibility to come to a negotiated settlement. And that's where it gets to be kind of a foregone conclusion that this one's probably one too many, one bridge too far. And I think we've reached that point.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens because Air Canada on their website is referring to this as an illegal strike. On Saturday, we know that Federal Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu ordered flight attendants to head back to work. The flight attendants have not done so. Set up this legal challenge, or set up this latest challenge for us between the unions and the Carney Liberals.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see because I think that the way this is evolving, it's not cupe, and it's really, the whole of the labor movement that really has kind of gathered its strength around a push to have the federal government stay away from negotiations and have the federal government either declare an industry as an essential service or they let negotiations happen. And this is the case now where we're seeing this negotiation breakdown and the government's jumping in to solve it, which is not the way to do it.
Okay, let's get back to the people who are most affected outside of the negotiations, and that is passengers. What do we know that Air Canada is or isn't doing to accommodate affected passengers?
Air Canada is kind of dragging its feet in trying to accommodate return flights. I think Air Canada is finding that the industry has kind of jumped to some interesting price gouging, for lack of a better word. The price for return Canadians is getting to be pretty exorbitant, and Air Canada is not willing to pay it. So Air Canada is basically saying, sorry, we can't find a flight home, you're on your own. And that's not right.
No, well, if you go onto their website, there are a list of exemptions in order to either get this flexible rebooking policy or the refund. That's if you can get somebody on the phone or on the chat. I just want to ask your opinion, John. Based on past airline strikes that we've seen, we don't know what the outcome of this one is, but we do know that backlog is a huge problem, not only for the airlines and passengers, but also for the airports like Pearson. What do you expect to happen in the next couple of days?
You're going to get passengers that are totally frustrated with not getting hold of Air Canada. They want to talk to somebody. They don't want to do the chatbot thing. They want to basically do hold on 1 second here. I've got a phone going off on the side. But yes, a busy morning. Yeah, but I think that what's happening is that most Canadians basically are frustrated and they're showing up at the airport.
Well, you're not just our go-to person, John Graddick, but I know that you are the person for a lot of other people as well. We're going to let you answer that phone call. John Graddick, faculty lecturer and program coordinator for the Aviation Management and Supply Chain Management program at McGill, or the airline go-to guy. Thanks so much, John.
Take care. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too. Good luck to everybody trying to get to the airport, or at least trying to get out of wherever they're at.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.